What's up, everyone? Welcome to Next Gen. My name is Matt. I'm one of the youth directors here at First Church. Here at Next Gen, nobody is perfect, and everybody is welcome. So thank you so much for being here. Even though this is not typically how we have Next Gen with it on the screens, we'll be back in the auditorium next week. It's still going to be a great night. Kyle's going to do the message coming up in just a couple minutes. But before we do that, I've just got a few announcements for us. The first one is that next week at Next Gen, it is the last week for the spring. I know, I'm sad, you're sad, but we're going to have a great final Next Gen before we get into all sorts of great stuff this summer. And one of the things that's going to make it great is our big event. It's called Color Wars. If you've never done Color Wars, you'll want to make sure to dress with an old t-shirt and shorts and shoes that you don't mind getting totally blasted with amazing colored powder as we have an all-out fun in the backyard here at Wheatfield. It's going to be amazing. Invite your friends and also invite your fifth graders. Fifth graders will be with us again next week, as will the high schoolers. 5th through 12th grade will all be with us together as we end the Next Gen season. It'll be great. Join us there for that. Last announcement. If you haven't signed up yet, we keep reminding you, but there's just a few more spots for our movement camp. That's our middle school camp that's running June. It's actually July 20th through 24th. We would love to see you there. It's going to be an amazing time. Kyle and I have been so excited as we've been planning this out. It's going to be an amazing time of messages and worship and adventure and just the best memories you're going to make all summer long. So I'd love to see you there. Tell your friends to sign up too. That's it for me. Let's throw it to those tick thoughts and then get to Kyle's message. Let's roll the clips.
I am Thor, God of... There. Go, Ellie, go.
That one didn't go very high.
Hey guys, what is up? I am really excited that you guys are here at Next Gen tonight. If we haven't met yet, my name is Kyle, and I have the honor of serving as one of the youth directors here at First Church. And tonight, I want to kick us off with a question. Have you ever disliked someone so deeply that it permeated all areas of your life? Maybe like Hans from Frozen, or the Green Bay Packers, or Jar Jar Binks. Those are some of mine, but let's be honest, those are mostly playful because Hans is responsible for one of the biggest betrayals in recent Disney movie history, and Jar Jar Binks nearly ruined an entire franchise, the Star Wars franchise, and the Green Bay Packers are bitter rivals with the Chicago Bears. Now, let's be honest, those are silly ones. I don't legitimately hate anyone, but certain people or types of people can be divided. Maybe yours are deeper. Maybe like your rival school or people who think differently or disagree with you. Now, during Jesus' time, there was a pretty deep dispute going on between the Jewish people and Samaritans. The Samaritans were related to the Jews. They were kind of like distant cousins that had a beefing feud with each other. They also held some differing religious beliefs about the location of the temple, which doesn't sound too big now, but it was a big deal to them. Now, think of it as being similar to how the dispute in the 1700s between the U.S. colonies and Great Britain was a massive deal. Now it's just a chapter in history books. But this divide between Samaritans and Jews was deep and strong. The first readers of Jesus' interaction that we're about to read would have been completely shocked with what happened. Have you ever felt like Jesus' way is weird and it makes no sense because what God is calling you to do was outside of your comfort zone? That's what the first readers felt when they first read this. Check it out. So he, meaning Jesus, left Judea and returned to Galilee. He had to go through Samaria on the way. Okay, this is important to know. This, down here in the south, is Judea. Down here in the south is Judea. And all the way up here in the north is a region called Galilee. So that's where Jesus was trying to go. Now, if you ask me, the most logical path between any 2 points is a line. So I would think, obviously, you would just go through there, go through this region called Samaria. But for Jews, that was a big no-no. Because for me, for someone that doesn't know any kind of geographical info or any of the cultural issues back then, I wouldn't know. But going through Samaria was a big no-no. This divide between Jew and Samaritan was so big that they literally avoided the entire region. Most Jewish people went out of their way to avoid passing through that region. They would literally take this route instead and would literally go the long way around to avoid Samaria. But Jesus chose to go straight through the heart of it. Not only chose, but verse 4 says something interesting. It says he had to go through Samaria. The natural and typical route was not to go through Samaria. If Jesus had to go through Samaria, it was not for earthly reasons. Having to go through Samaria meant he was focused on his mission and he was compelled to complete it. And just as a reminder, as we go on this journey through this month, there's one verse that we're going to keep coming back to, and it's in Acts 1:8. But you will receive power when the Holy Spirit comes upon you, and you will be my witnesses, telling people about me everywhere, in Jerusalem, throughout Judea, and Samaria, and to the ends of the earth. Now, when Jesus' followers would have heard this, they would have thought, going to Jerusalem? Pfft, not an issue. Judea? Yeah, sure, we're there with you, Jesus. We can go to Judea. But Samaria? Whoa. Hold up, Jesus. I'll go anywhere, but I won't go there. I've been in a similar situation myself, so to speak. Right around a year ago, I was a youth pastor up in Minnesota, where I had been for 3 years, and I could sense that God was nudging me and telling me it was time to serve at a new church. So do you know what I told him? I said, God, are you sure? I mean, like, I'll do it because you know best, but here's the thing, God. I'm just now starting to get comfortable here, and I'm just now starting to plant my roots in the community, so are you sure? Well, I think you guys know how God responded to that. God called me here to Indiana. God sent me outside of my comfort zone so that I could trust in him. And the same thing happened for Jesus. God sent him out of his comfort zone, and Jesus trusted him. So Jesus ended up in a village in Samaria, and he went to a well. And while Jesus was there, he interacted with a woman who had an incredibly troubled past. Now, back then, it would have been shocking to see this play out because to do so was very culturally off limits. Let's check out the story. Soon, a Samaritan woman came to draw water, and Jesus said to her, "Please give me a drink." He was alone at the time because his disciples had gone into the village to buy some food. The woman was surprised, for Jews refused to have anything to do with Samaritans. Jesus put aside the cultural prejudices, put aside what was normal and common, and spoke to this woman. Now, what was uncommon? Not just her Samaritanness, but also the kind of life that she had lived up to that point. Let's keep reading. Jesus replied, "If you only knew the gift God has for you and who you are speaking to, you would ask me and I would give you living water. But sir, You don't have a rope or a bucket, she said. And this well is very deep. Where would you get this living water? And besides, do you think you're greater than our ancestor Jacob, who gave us this well? How can you offer better water than he and his sons and his animals enjoyed? All right, I need you to picture with me the person in your life that is the complete opposite of you. Maybe it's your brother or your sister, or maybe it's a parent, maybe it's a friend, or maybe it's even a teammate. But I need you to picture that person right now, and I need you to picture why they are the complete opposite of you. Because that is exactly what is happening here with Jesus and this woman. She was nothing like him religiously, nothing like him morally, and she was nothing like him in status. Let's keep reading. Jesus replied, "Anyone who drinks this water will soon become thirsty again. But those who drink the water I give will never be thirsty again. It becomes a fresh, bubbling spring within them, giving them eternal life." "Please, sir," the woman said, "give me this water. Then I'll never be thirsty again, and I won't have to come here to get water." Notice that everything Jesus did here was to bring his message of hope to a woman that was nothing like him. And this was all because Jesus chose to follow God's direction of having to go through Samaria. Now remember, Jesus ignored the common way of traveling to go to a less convenient location and talk to someone that, according to society, he shouldn't have been talking to. But because Jesus chose to be uncomfortable, it changed the direction of the Samaritan woman's life forever. Here's tonight's big idea, and some of you may have picked up on this. To make a kingdom-sized impact, you need to step outside of your comfort zone. Maybe sometimes for us, it requires us to take a step away from something that we really value, like our friends, so that we can focus on Jesus and on his mission. Like you do when you go to CIY or movement camp or even on a mission trip. It's time away from the ordinary, and you're not completely abandoning all your friends, but you're going away for a period of time, just like what happened with Jesus and his disciples. The time away from the disciples gave Jesus the space he needed to see a hurting woman and share his message of hope with her. How can you choose to go outside of your comfort zone to make a kingdom-sized impact? After Jesus' conversation with the lady at the well, she immediately went and told the whole town, telling them about Jesus. And the entire village heard the message because of this one interaction. Talk about an impact. Now, here's the thing. To make a Jesus-sized impact, it starts with being obedient where you are, seeing an impact in your one, who we talked about last week here at Next Gen. And then you have to be willing to go outside of your comfort zone. Make no mistake. If you want to make a kingdom-sized impact, you're going to have to stretch yourself outside of your comfort zone. So, what can you do right here, right now? Here are some practical things that may be out of your comfort zone. First, choose to set up a time to have a spiritual conversation with your one. Oh, Kyle, I don't know. That may be a little bit out of my comfort zone. Okay? How about this? Choose to sit next to someone at lunch who's off by themselves. For some of you, that might be a huge step out of your comfort zone. Or maybe it's this. Sign up for the Guatemala mission trip or for movement camp. That might be a couple steps outside of your comfort zone. Now, those are just a few examples, but whatever it is, it's between you and God. And it's something that you need to be thinking about. To make a kingdom-sized impact, you need to be willing to go outside of your comfort zone. Will you do it?